First of all, I need to know what it was like when you guys first got the call that you were going to be a part of this just like amazing all-star cast, but also project.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go down the road line.
I was personally very excited.
Yeah.
You know, when I read the sides for another character I auditioned for on Zoom, you know, I had the Zoom meeting with the director of the first episode, and I was like, okay, this is dope. And I got a call a couple days ago like, hey, so we don't want you to play this character, we want you to play this character. And I was like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm such a huge fan of Will Packer. He's always showed me so much love. And also Kevin's name was attached in Sam's. So I was like, of course it's only up from there. And then actually seeing like all of the names that kept getting added to the bill, I was like, oh, this is more incredible than I thought. So to bring Lena to life, you know, she's the only female that's a part of the Robbers, which is really cool. She gets to bring that little feminine spice.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun for sure.
You think at first she's such a calm character and she's like very timid, and then boom.
See
Looks
that little
can
spark.
be deceiving.
See that little kernel of like,
I wonder why they got Chloe to play her. I wonder if it works. You know, every person.
She's like, I can give you sweet and sour.
Every Batman got to be Bruce Wayne at some point.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's
So there
a
you
bar.
go. That's every Batman got to be Bruce
Wayne.
Wayne at some point.
Stolen. Quote, stolen.
Thanks.
I'm keeping that. No, same. I think it was like the excitement of watching the cast come together was the best part. Like I said, when I came a part of it too, just like Chloe, it was Kevin and it was Sam.
Yeah.
And then it almost became like a watch, like a draft watch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who's coming next? I was like, oh, they got okay.
And Taraji.
I was like, Taraji.
Yeah.
I think when because I think that role was still yet defined, and then they had brought on Don, and then I think they knew they were. Was it Don? What they brought on?
I think they brought on me before Don.
They brought on you before Don.
Only because I had to start training.
Right.
And because I didn't know who was going to be JD. That's the only reason.
And then
I
it was
say that.
Terrence.
And then it was Terrence.
And then it was like Taraji was that one where they got Taraji.
Yeah.
Like, I remember
Taraji.
it was like
but Don was the last announcement.
Don, and it was like okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well,
I remember being in the gym. Similarly to like
Yeah.
how Sinqua was talking about the cast, like
Yeah.
and the announcements and how exciting it was when they
Yes.
added pieces to the puzzle.
Yes.
I remember being in the gym and not knowing who was going to be JD.
Yeah.
And then my manager texted me. He's like, Don Cheadle. I'm like,
Woo.
what about him?
What?
Like, what about him? He's like, I'm like, he's amazing.
He's amazing.
I love Crash.
Devil
He's
in a
like,
blue
no.
dress.
Yeah, right. He's like, he's being JD. I said, excuse me? And that's exactly what they did. I think they assembled the Titans. And it's fortunate that we didn't clash. We just kind of worked together really well.
I think it was cool to work with Don the way when we got to work together in latter seasons and just learn from him as just like a mentor, a brother, a friend, in all aspects. But I went back and I actually watched this old interview where I was talking about people that inspired me to become an actor.
No.
And this was from years ago. I hadn't seen this thing in forever. And I mentioned Don Cheadle as one of them, Sam as one of them, Wesley Snipes as one of them. And I'm like, I had that feeling because we were sitting on set, we were at the rail yard, and Don's talking to me, and he's just having a normal conversation. I'm just like, yeah, dog, yeah, it's Don Cheadle talking to me. And then we would talk, and then we would text about like life or whatever, work, whatever. And I would literally call home to my friends, like, yo, I'm texting Don right now.
Oh my god.
Like he's texting me.
That's a flex. A whole
Yeah,
flex.
I was like,
love
yeah,
it.
oh, Don just called me. Hold on, let me pick it up.
Yeah.
And then Chloe's shooting Coachella while we're doing the show.
Listen.
Yeah.
So we're shooting the show and she's doing Coachella.
And she's rehearsing and preparing.
So then you just
That was crazy.
It was.
Yes.
hey.
What was that like?
I was gonna,
But handling
you
with
have to
so
go
much
questions
grace.
that need to be answered.
That was crazy in itself
Yeah.
because, you know, this show meant so much to me. And Coachella also meant so much to me. I had to cut a week off of Coachella rehearsals. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make this work. I just really have to dedicate myself really hard when I go back to LA. So I was like, okay, here I am as Lena. I went back. I remember sharing with you guys how nervous I was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm doing new choreography for all the songs. I hope I learn it in like the week and a half. I'm so scared. And then when I came back to set, they were hyping me up and congratulated me, and it just felt like so much love and family and community.
Oh, we all watched it.
What I was
Oh yeah.
We all like we were like,
Yeah.
okay, Chloe going on. Like, we were like, oh, did you see Chloe's performance? Crazy.
Chloe, you know what I love about what you're doing is the fact that I feel like people always ask, right? Like music or acting, what do you want to do? Which is it? And I feel like you're showing you can do both.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can do both very well.
Thank you.
But I mean, how do you, I guess that's kind of how you mix it, right? You just make sure that your schedule is coordinated and you
Absolutely.
just prioritize, right?
Yeah, I definitely go where God leads me in the moment. And I feel like if it's meant to be, it'll work out. Always. So that's how I decide. I'm like, okay,
Let's talk about Muhammad Ali. 'Cause, I mean, no pressure.
No pressure.
I'm just gonna play the greatest. Yeah. I could tell. Did you have a dialect coach?
No.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, no, YouTube University. I mean, but I YouTube University, I promise. I didn't have a dialect coach. I did have an acting coach who I just work with in general, daily, like Wednesday to Friday. And so when I got this one, though, this was really cool because this was the one I wanted to do by myself. Like, I had been doing such really good work in the strike, just practicing, just rehearsing, gymming, like pulling scenes from my favorite movies and watching them. And of course, I watched so much Will Smith, right? So then I went to YouTube University and learned everything about Muhammad Ali and the way he walked. I got to go to Louisville, Kentucky, went to go see his grave, went to the church that his parents went from, ran miles from his house. And, because the Louisville accent is so specific. It's not the South, it's not the Midwest, and his R's are very different than certain vowels. And so, I just wanted to make sure that I was keeping the cadence of how Ali would say certain words. And you can't really teach it, you just kind of have to hear it.
And that was what he was very distinctly known for, was the fact that he had a mouth on him.
Oh, man.
And he could have a comeback.
I
want to ask you guys, because when I was in the other room and I was talking to, for example, like Samuel L. Jackson, he's like, I could tell you about the 70s, right? We can't really do that. So I want to know, how is it to do a period piece where you only know from images and what you learn in the history books about particularly Black Atlanta in the 70s?
This one was cool to do. A period piece in general was great, but shooting with Sam, you said Sam Jackson's name. Ali went to Morehouse in 1970 before this fight, and Sam was a student on that campus. So when we shot, I don't know if he was there at that time or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to lie about the dates, but I know Sam came to the set when we were shooting in Morehouse, and he walked around with the students, and he didn't have any dialogue. He wasn't on set that day. It was literally just all Ali, me, and Don. And he just came and spent time with the students, walked around the campus. This is where I used to go. This is the class I skipped, et cetera, et cetera. And embodying that time allowed us to really embody the era. And then when you get the hair on, the wigs on, they're driving in the cars, then you really are locked into 1970. But working with so many castmates who were alive and around when this happened also helped for me.
Working with some of them that were alive during that time is crazy.
Kev was
alive.
Sam was alive. Sam was breathing, I think.
Also, it's the music, too. Like, I think, one of the things that we have that is transitional to every era is that music is always with us. And we all did our own work to make sure what music does the soundtrack that our characters listen to. But we were fortunate that we had a team around us. I would think about specifically our makeup and hair. Every morning, there's music from the era that's playing. On the walls, there's music that's inspired by that, that are inspiring why they made the choices. So when that's all a part of the essence of it, it makes it a lot easier for us to jump in and just tell that story.
Absolutely.
That's a really good point,